So Scott, you and I were talking this morning about our financial planning colleagues, right? You work with a lot of financial planners and you're on the real estate side. And so the big problem that you see is that, again, while financial planning and stocks and bonds, that whole industry is very mature, real estate, not as much, right? So the problem that we are talking about is how clients have 40, 50%, or maybe more of their overall net worth, which is a lot of money, in real estate. But the problem is that the financial planners typically don't go very deep on the real estate side. And so they're really good at the stocks, the bonds, the equities. But the problem again is the clients not being served well because half of their net worth is missing from the overall plan, right? And it's a lot going on there. Can you tell me again how you take a financial planning approach to the real estate side and how it's different than what's being done today?
So when I started out with SIFF Investments, the concept was, yes, I was a financial planner back in the 90s, and I realized in real estate, as we know, no fault of the system, but realtors are transactional. They may say they're not, but their role is to help you buy or sell a piece of property. That's it. Maximize the sale price, minimize the purchase price. After that, it's not anyone's responsibility to kind of manage performance. So what I saw was this huge gap in the industry. We know that stocks and mutual funds and bonds are you can read it on a daily basis, what those numbers are and what the share prices are. It's very efficient. Real estate, like I said, is sold and then left for the investor to take care of it themselves. So if you think about the equities and being a financial planner and dealing with stocks and mutual funds and bonds, like you were saying, it's extremely efficient. We know how well we're doing versus the market almost daily. People even trade, daily and very often. So you can compare your notes on your portfolio to the S&P 500, what have you. Very efficient, like you were saying. It's going to blow your mind, but when you think about real estate, what's efficient is having access to inventory, seeing a property online through Zillow or Realtor.com. What's completely inefficient is the consumer or investor's knowledge on what other options are out there and who to trust. In addition, every single piece of property performs differently. So if we take a slice of the pie of the S&P 500, whether I buy this fund at S&P 500 or this, it's all the same. If I buy this share Google and this another share Google, it's the same. It's a Google company. I can follow. Think about this. You buy, since I'm born and raised here in San Francisco, you buy a 2-unit property in Pacific Heights. You cannot compare that property with a 2-unit property performance in another part of town. Let's just say that was the Outer Sunset. So every piece of real estate is so unique. That's number one for the consumer. So performance is unique, cash flow is unique, how much you borrowed or didn't borrow is unique. And then you really go into it and what are the other options for this consumer, even if they can calculate their returns. We help them with that. People are able to calculate or not, they don't have to calculate money in the stock market because the S&P 500 performed at X percent, 12% last year. Even if you can calculate your returns on your current property, is that a good return or a bad return versus what? What other options are out there? Does the consumer know that there are Delaware statutory trust funds? Do they know that there are triple net commercial properties, a Burger King's, a Dollar General's out there in different parts of the country? Do they know that Sacramento averages a six cap for a $2 million property, which might get them 4 to 6 units, versus that will only get you a single family home or a 2-unit in San Francisco? So there's all these variables, like you were saying, that real estate is so inefficient. And now we're talking about knowledge right here and being transparent. No one's hiding it from anyone. It's just simply that different pieces of property perform differently. And here's the biggest problem in real estate is it's all reactive. Mom passes away, so kids who are adult kids now want to sell. They're fighting over the money. There's death, there's divorce, there's financial problems. But there's no way to measure real estate no one does it proactively on an annual basis, which they should. So there's a lot of holes in the industry. There's no one's fault. It's no one's fault, I should say. It's just that it's never been taken care of. And so in the equity side, like you're saying, for financial planners, it's extremely efficient in terms of knowing that the role of planners are really to look at goals of a client and help them retire with those goals so they have enough money at the end of the road. In real estate, it's fragmented. The people who don't have planners, it's, oh, I got a piece of property on here, here. I don't even know how well any of it's doing. How do we put this together? And that's our job, is to really be that fee-based planner for the real estate investor. Like I said before, is since we are proactive, we're working with planners, we often, and most of the time, we get referred clients who they really have no inkling and no desire to do anything with their existing properties, right? They're like, okay, great, refer them over to SIFF Investments. Our role, how you can help us, is whether it's their single family home, whether it's their vacation home, whether it's an investment property, all of this, all of their properties generally have, and your clients are fairly wealthy in the sense of that they have money, they have money managed with you in the stock market, is what we find is 40% or more of investors' assets are in real estate. So if we take away this and look at the properties, if you refer those kinds of properties, virtually their single family home, the residence that they live in, vacation home, or an investment property, there's no obligation. What we want to do is give you the ability to look at their options on deferring taxes or even cashing out on a property. Deferring taxes, if it makes sense to do an exchange, cash out. How do we utilize, we as partners together, all this equity, 40% or more, and help your clients retire sooner and richer, right? Because at the end of the day, you may be managing $1 million, $2 million of their money in the stock market. They entrust you to manage it so they know at the end of the rainbow that they have a high likelihood, based on their goals, to have an X amount of dollars in retirement by you helping them plan. What we want to do is take that 40% or more of their net worth that is kind of forgotten, no fault of yours, and analyze all that equity. It's crazy to think, but can we downsize their home? Maybe they're living above their means. Can we look at how to convert the vacation home that seemed like a great idea? Now that your clients are empty nesters, utilizing that $1 million of equity in that property to generate income so they can retire sooner and richer. And then the obvious one is investment properties. They're 2-unit, they're 4-unit property, they're commercial property. Most likely what we found is if they've owned those properties in the Bay Area for 10 plus years, we can increase their rental income significantly. Like I said, on average 60% or more. The key though is not say if we go with, we can increase it $50,000 a year. That sounds great. We've helped increase. It's not the 50,000. It's the 50,000 for the duration of that hold, for the 20 years. And maybe they could have done that 10 years ago. But how would I have met them? I need your help, really. And so we have all these underperforming assets, underperforming properties. And by partnering with, planners like you, we can make a real difference, huge difference. It's phenomenal where all this money is left on the table. This is not a salesmanship saying, wow, we can turn this into that. It's simply because they've been ignored. These pieces of property, no one's been looking at the primary residence, the vacation homes, the investment properties and saying, oh my gosh, how do we execute on these, strategize, defer the taxes, include it in the plan, and have our clients retire sooner and richer? So this is how we can work together. Send us those property addresses, the values. We have a questionnaire that we have for all of the types of properties that we can send to you with basic questions so we can start and see these properties. There's no obligation. Many of our clients who we work with, many of the planners who refer us, their clients, we don't do anything with. It's not the right time. Maybe it's in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. But if they don't know their options, like I was saying, for example, and they're losing out on $50,000 a year, for example, that's not just 1 year. That's every year. So it could be millions of dollars of cash flow. So if you own a highly appreciated property, whether that's your primary residence or an investment property, and that investment property could be, single family home, apartment building, commercial property. If you own these types of properties in the Bay Area, let us look at those properties and we can give you a complimentary consultation on how well they're performing, how well the cash flow is, how much equity you have in your property. We can give you analysis of how much they're worth. Obviously, you know what you paid for, but we can give you a picture of, is it working? Are your properties working well for you? Does it make sense for you to keep them, hold them, refinance them, or do a 1031 exchange? Can we help you exchange into other properties that can help you retire sooner or richer? So we can give you a complimentary consultation, 30-minute consultation on your property or properties. We're not realtors, we're purely consultants, fee-based since 2002. There's no obligation, we just want to make sure that you're getting the best out of your properties.